So this is my game 3 at Nova. I played Collins in game 2, and we were about, I think, 2 turns in when I just completely realized that I wasn't taking pictures. So we skipped that one. What happened in that game 2 was he got a big win. He was actually playing my army against this Warriors Chaos army, which he helped design, and he had my number, so he got a big win. I did pick up 4 bonus points, so I think it ended up being, I want to say it was like 22-7, somewhere in there. So I got my butt kicked pretty bad, went down a few tables, and ended up playing Phil and his Tomb Kings. I can't remember where Phil was from, but he was a really nice guy. He had a Tomb Kings army, which is always awesome to see at a GT. It was fairly standard, internet build, I think, a little bit, with lots of the serpent riders, big blocks of archers, Archon the Black, and Light Coven to go with it. And I don't think it was like completely cut and paste, but that's the gist of it, really. And a casket. He didn't have the Hyro Titan because he didn't want. He had a Ramhotep, and he didn't want Ramhotep's blessing to go on the Hyro Titan. So he wasn't making quite as many dice as he could, but he was still making a ton of dice every phase. So let's get to it. So you can see his army here. He's got over here we've got a big unit of archers, and it's got 3 level 2 Lore of Light casters in it. And then you can see his, and I apologize for the blurriness of the pictures here. He's got a unit of 4 snakes, something like 70 or 80 skeleton warriors in a big block. He's got another unit of big snakes. The Sphinx there it counts as a snake. And behind it is a big unit of archers. And in the middle, on this picture on the left side of that big unit of archers, is where he's got the model that represents Archon the Black. And then over on his flank, he's got another unit of 4 snakes. And there's a casket over there in the middle as well. I think I glossed over, wasn't down yet. So my army over here, from the right, we've got dogs, we've got skull crushers, warriors, my BSB, then the Gorby's chariot, right to left. We got 3 more chariots and 2 more chimeras. I think the chimeras weren't placed yet, but they went, roughly in the middle of the table near the general and the BSB. And behind the hill, we got my Demon Prince General. On the hill, we've got the Hell Cannon. And then over on the left flank, you can see my display board and got my dogs. So first turn, I walked up a little bit, moved the BSB up aggressively because I want to be able to take a shot at Archon. And if I can't take a shot at Archon, at least I want him to move Archon so that his Lore of Death is less of a threat. So it's one way or the other, I want to neutralize him, move the Chimera up on the left, and then and this is a weird thing, not something I do in a normal game, but at Nova they had tiered line of sight. So what I'm doing with that Chimera there is blocking line of sight to from his light mages. They can't see the Demon Prince because the Chimera was considered the same size as the Demon. I don't know, 7th edition, weird rules. So basically I'm blocking line of sight from the banishment spell using the Chimera as mobile cover. And the dogs kind of move up a little bit as well. And you can see this is, so he moves up in his turn. He doesn't do much in his magic phase. I think he killed the Chimera on the left, the one that moved up a lot with banishment. He's generating so many power dice that I basically have to give up a Chimera each turn. But he moves his Serpent Riders and gets him in position there to put him. I don't know if he's not really blocking, but maybe sacrifice him a little bit. And you can see it's hard to see, but what he's done is he's worried about my Disc Rider getting to Archon, which is a really valid fear. And because of the true line of sight, if he shuffles Archon around to be behind the snakes, then he can't see anything to cast his spells. So what he decides to do ultimately is he takes Archon and moves him behind the unit of skeleton warriors and just protects him that way. Now he can't really cast many of his spells, but he's still basically generating 3 extra power dice every turn. Yeah, you can see that he banishes that Chimera. He put the banishment down spell for me every time so that we could remember what happened there. So dead Chimera, and he gets off like Speed of Light or something on the he buffs up these warriors. He's killed both Chimeras at this point. I think the other one at the casket, and he's managed to buff these guys as well. So he's having very successful magic phase. So my turn, I charge on into these snakes and give them a good walloping. Yeah, you can see all the stuff. I think my Hell Cannon failed its leadership and came up, but you can see all the pounding I'm putting on them. And what I'm looking for is to maybe stick around for 1 round of combat afterwards, if possible. And I put my BSB into his other snakes, just trying to pound my way through that. Get started. I know I can beat him in combat pretty regularly. And I actually made the long charge here, charged my Skull Crushers up and slammed into his snakes. I think I needed a 10, and I got it. I knew there was going to be a stalemate over there, and I really felt like these Skull Crushers could take those snakes out in 2 or 3 rounds of combat. So what happens here, he ends up with this guy with 1 wound left. It's pretty fantastic, because my Demon Prince will kill him during the Tomb King's turn, and then I'll be able to charge. It's going to be great. Yep. So he's done some wounds back to the chariots, but there, I'm going to get that reform, and it's all looking like I'm going to be able to get in combat where he can't use the banish and the casket as much, and then the life is going to be good. So in his turn, he gets off a ton of spells. He banishes the Hell Cannon this time. Gets rid of the Hell Cannon. I just can't stop. And you can see my BSB continues to whittle down the snake. But this was unexpected. My Skull Crushers lost combat, just whiffed a bunch, lost by 1, and got run down by these snakes over here. So that changed that flank really badly. And yeah, as you can see, I managed to whack. He killed that chariot on the top right, but I managed to get rid of that 1 wound on the old snake. And so it's looking pretty good. At this point, so what happened was I had my 3 chariots that were left, and I had my Demon Prince, and I know I need to get them into combat, and they are all needing a 7-inch charge to get into block with these skeleton warriors. And from there, I figure I can whittle them down, and then it's not a ton of points, but then work from there. But I need to be in that safe spot of combat every turn when it's his turn, because he has all that offensive magic. And so I take my 3 Swift Stride charges with my Demon, or 4 Swift Stride charges with the Demon Prince and the 3 chariots, and each needing a 7. Only one of them makes it. So the Demon Prince and 2 of the chariots are just hanging out in the wind while this 1 chariot charges into this big block of skeletons by itself. So that was pretty much a disaster at that point. I'm not where I need to be, and I'm out in the open. This guy just holds on around. He won't die, and I was hoping to get into those skeletons and fly around and challenge, kind of mess with Archon, but no dice there. And my Demon Prince is now banished. So there goes my level 4. Even more than losing the Demon Prince, losing a level 4 in that situation really hurt. Because now his magical superiority is ridiculous at this point, when he's got level 4s and level 2s, and I don't have any mages to counter that magic. So you can see here he breaks that chariot, and my stuff is coming up, but it's not really enough. I slam as much as I can in, but he countercharges, puts snakes in. I can't whittle those guys down fast enough, and the snakes are now on my flank. I do get the Gorby's chariot into his skeletons up there, along with Archon, the BSB. I made a mistake here. So the BSB finished off the other snakes. And he turned because he had those free Serpent Riders that had killed my my Skull Crushers, and I thought he was going to charge the BSB. Well, they charged past, and they're the ones that got into the flank of the Chaos Warriors. So now that BSB is wasted for a turn, which is really a mistake of mine. I think the game really wasn't going my way at this point, but it's just a real disaster. And you can see he killed the Chaos Warriors. He, I think, ran the chariot either down or away. And the Gorby's chariot kills all the Skeleton Warriors, but it can't get to Archon. I think it turned to face the casket, because the casket is easy points if I can get to it. And he death magicked the BSB off the table with Archon. I send one more chariot into his Skeleton Warriors, and I kill his casket, but it's pretty bad. So he ends up with those Skeleton Warriors in my deployment zone. Gets himself a couple points. I did do better here. A couple things that you don't see. So that's the end of the pictures, but a couple things you don't see. At Nova we had a random building we had to capture with core units, and what I did in the first turn was I just put a unit of hounds up near the building and just hugged that building with the hounds. And since no combat really occurred around that area, those hounds were there to claim the building at the end of the game. The other thing I did was my other unit of hounds, I stuck them in his deployment zone away from anything else in the first or second turn of the game and left them there, and they ended up capturing both the bonus points there. So this was a minor win for Phil, and he ended up with 9 points to my 7. And I think with my bonus points I actually ended up with 11 points, so it's still a loss, and I've actually gone 0-3 the first day, and I've never gone 0-3 at a tournament or a GT before, so that was pretty crazy, but it was improvement every time. I think I had a 3, a 7, and then an 11, so they're losses, but at least it's improving. So I'm going into day 2 next. I've got nearly at the bottom table because it was based on battle points and not bonus points. Even though I have a decent amount of points, my battle points are pretty low, so I think I'm second from last or third from last to the bottom table, and actually the people below us when I got there in Game 4 had either left the tournament or were like playing up on higher tables in order to not play each other a second time or something. I don't know, but my opponent and I were at the bottom table at the tournament. It was pretty funny. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the battle report. You get to see Tomb Kings beat the Warriors of Chaos net list. That's always fun. And I'll see you next time.